Yo, what up guys, Travic here. Today I want to talk a little bit more about ritual. Just the other day we did a ritual farming strategy that involved using no towers, going into maps and farming and deferring all of our ritual items. But today let's take ritual a step further. Today let's talk about the Crux of Nothingness. If you don't know what the Crux of Nothingness is, it is pretty much the ritual boss fight that comes from getting the petition splinters. As you do your rituals in maps, or you buy them from the currency exchange and you get enough of them, you can do the ritual encounter. Now, when you come to your map device and you click on the little home symbol, which is hiding behind my face right over here, it brings you back to the starting area, and that's where you see your realm gate. In your realm gate, you'll take your petition splinters and you'll put them in here, and you'll notice that you have three different options to do the fight. Tier 1 requires 50 splinters, Tier 2 requires 100, and Tier 3 requires 150. And you'll notice as you choose the different tiers, it shows a red circle around. On Tier 0 or Tier 1, you get an unlimited number of tries. Tier 2, you get 2 or 3 tries, and Tier 3, you get 0 tries. Now, what does the fight look like, and why are we doing this? First and foremost, when we have 150 splinters, we're going to toss them into the realm gate. We're going to go into the Crux of Nothingness, and because you're watching this video, I assume your boss building damage can do boss building things, and your build can do damage. So when we start this fight, there's a couple of things. First and foremost, he has a red puddle. Don't step on the red puddle. The red puddle will kill you. He's going to have totems that you can explode if you don't do enough damage, and if you do enough damage, the fight in itself is relatively straightforward. He does a purple little explodey thing. This will kill you. All of this stuff will deal you a whole lot of damage, and the fight itself is pretty much just dodge his attacks. And if you get too close to him, he's going to do that, and it's a big-ass ground slam that'll probably one-shot you. So you can see he's got very basic attacks, and it's just pretty much a straightforward fight. You hit him, he takes a bunch of damage. You hit him again, he takes a bunch of damage, and eventually he'll port up here, and you can kill these things, these totems, and you'll go and do the fight. After you deal enough damage to the King of the Mist, you can see here, he sends you into a maze phase. This maze phase is where most people struggle. There are going to be these blue wisps, and you're going to follow these blue wisps. They will guide you which way to go and give you a sense of general direction. You want to look for more blue wisps, and you want to find the blue wisp and follow the blue wisp. Eventually, they will lead you to this portal back to the arena. If you get lost inside of the maze and you spend too long inside of the maze, you will die. In phase 2 of the fight, the boss pretty much goes crazy. He upgrades to what you see in Act 1, and it just becomes the exact same thing where he's going to cast a whole bunch of spells. He's going to cast a bunch of chaos damage. He's going to cast some balls of lightning, and you just have to sit there and kill him. If you don't do the mechanics or you don't kill him fast enough, he's going to do a bunch of damage and you're going to die. Now, this fight, when we do it, if you have the damage to do it, is very quick. It's in and out. You see this fight right now. It took us 1:48. But when you know what you're doing and you're not explaining it and you're not really worrying about it, you can go in and out of this fight extremely quick. It's one of the faster pinnacle bosses or fights that you can be doing in Path of Exile 2. And the upside to this fight is it drops all I-84 bases, which is kind of insane. So essentially, you get to literally click the home button, go to your realm gate, toss in the splinters, open the fight, and then within 60 seconds in going and doing the fight, you're in and out and can do the fight again. Now, this fight in itself, very straightforward. You deal a whole bunch of damage. He gets down to 0 health. You see he hasn't had a chance to do anything. He's going to put us into the maze phase, and we're going to go through the maze phase. Now you're saying, hey, I'm watching this. I don't understand. Why are you doing this? What are you farming this for? And I will show you that right after we do this maze phase. Now you see the wisps, they guide me in a straight line. There was only one way to go. We look for more wisps. We follow the wisp. They're going to tell us to come down here somewhere. We're going to look for the wisp here, and it's going to bring us up this way. You're going to bring us up this way. And then we're going to come all around and we're going to look for where to go. We're going to look for another wisp. I'm pretty sure it's over here. We come all the way around. It's going to make us come up this way and go around. And now this maze phase will get easier and easier the more that you do this. So now we come down over here. Here we go, back into the arena. Now that maze phase took a little bit longer than most times, but we'll do another run and you should see, usually the runs average out to about a minute 10, depending on you as the player, how long the mazes are, if you have good mazes, bad mazes. But the biggest reason that we're doing this is the loot that comes off the King of the Mist. Very recently, I was, not really aware of how good this loot was, and I started doing them yesterday and today, and I noticed that the loot's kind of actually insane. First and foremost, you're going to get a bunch of, omens that aren't really going to be good. Some are going to be really, really, really good, and some are going to be very mediocre. And you're going to have a lot of item bases that are going to drop. Now, if I pick up some of these are all bases that I normally don't want, that you might want, but all of these bases are eye level 84, meaning that they're high enough to get all of the best modifiers, which is, something really interesting to keep in mind. Now, most loot filters will probably filter out a lot of the junk bases, and you can see this one's actually pretty good. And you just have to make sure that your loot filter in itself is not filtering out all of the items that you would normally be picking up or that you would overlook. The more you do this and the more that you do bosses and the more that you look at bases, you'll start to find more and more items that you as the player would want to pick up. Now, what's really cool about these runs is not only do you drop I-84 bases, but because the zone level is 82, the King of the Mist has a chance to drop all of the omens. You've seen we've gotten a couple of, mediocre omens, but he has the opportunity to drop every single omen on his loot table, and they drop in relative frequency. Now, I've been doing these runs all day before I started recording. I did a whole bunch of them on stream. I did a whole bunch of them off stream, and the profit and the returns from doing the fights are pretty good. Now, with any bossing mechanic, you have to understand something. While you're bossing and doing bosses, you run the risk of running dry. What that means is RNG, and sometimes when you do these fights, you're gonna have good loot, and sometimes you're gonna have bad loot, and sometimes you're gonna have sprees of really good loot, and you're gonna have sprees of really bad loot. It's just the nature of doing bossing and what to expect. Now, you see we did this fight in 55 seconds. We get our gold, we get our loot, we grab another belt, and we are out of here. In terms of overall loot, like I had mentioned, this fight can indeed drop everything. In terms of, items and bases, you can drop every single unique from this fight. You can drop all the different omens from this fight, and you can get a whole lot of really cool things like ingenuities, plus other very cool things. I've managed to get a ton of different omens to really fill out my omen tap. And I put all the loot from farming today to the side. You've seen I've got a bajillion ingenuities, a billion different from nothing diamonds, and a bunch of really good other items that have dropped. Not this. This is mine. This is mine. Ignore this. But some of the cool things that come out of this is you get these ingenuity belts that you can corrupt for pretty good stuff. Like I did, I corrupted this one for 31%, 3134. That's worth a couple of divines. We get a bunch of from nothing diamonds. I actually sold a from nothing diamond earlier today for 7 divs. I sold an item that dropped off the ritual guy, a rare for 1 div. I looted another base from the ritual fight earlier, and I crafted it up, and I have probably gonna sell for 90 divs, but I have an insanely overpriced ring. I found pretty good glove bases that come off of this, and overall you just find really good stuff. Now, the real cool thing about this fight is you need 150 splinters to go into the fight, and the cost of entry to the fight is relatively on the cheaper side. Now, let's look at the cost of the entry to the fight, and then we'll look at how much we actually kind of walk away with when we're doing the fight. If I come over to the currency exchange and I search divines, and I say that I want splinters, I can see that the splinters are about 800 to a div. So you get 3, 6, so 4 1/4 fights, 5 fights. You get 5 fights to a divine. And if I look in chaos, they're 2 splinters for 140. So if I did 850 here, it's 412. And if I do this to this, it's less than a div. So it's infinitely cheaper to buy these fights in exalts. And this is where things get hard though, because if you don't have gold, it's a little rough. So I do my 4 divines for 2,100 and some change. It doesn't fully fill, so that's fine.
It's your lucky day.
So let's just take a look. We now have 2,100. So we go 2,100. We go splinters. We get 4,000.
All right.
4,000 splinters.
Is registered.
It's so stupid, dude. It's so stupid. Now, once this fills and we have 4,300 splinters for 4 divines, so let's just do this by 150. We're gonna get 4 divs is about to get us 28 fights. Okay, so that's a lot. That's a lot. So if I did 4,800 divided by 800, or 4,300 divided by 800, which is the cost of it in divines. Yes, so we get like infinite more fights, right? So it would have cost, so we get a divine's worth of extra fights buying it in chaos, which is crazy. Now the really cool thing is, because he can drop anything, all it takes is dropping a couple of high ticket omens and all of your fights are covered. So Omen of Whittling, for example, these are 2 divines apiece. Sinistral Annulments, these are 4 divines apiece. Sinistral Erasals, this is 3 divines apiece. These are 5 to a div, and these are roughly almost 2 divs each. Now, I did about 2.5 or 3 hours worth of fights today, and I walked away with 3 Whittlings, 4 Homogenizings, 1 Annulment, 1 Sinistral, 2 Perfect Exalted Orbs. I walked away with this many belts, this many from nothings. I sold an item worth a div. I got 3 of these Regal ones. I sold a from nothing worth 7 divs, and I got just all kinds of random stuff from doing this. Now, a lot of these are going to be worthless. Some are going to be worth a pretty penny, and I'm still up overall. I'm at 72 divs right now, and I have another bajillions of fights to do. I have like so many more fights to do. On top of that, I have other omens from doing them yesterday because I did a bunch of these off stream. And overall, my profits have just kind of steadily gone up. Now, a lot of the profit and the returns that you're going to get from doing this fight are going to be from the rares. So you're going to make sure that you want to look at a lot of the rares. And a lot of the return are going to be from the bulk amount of omens that you get from all the other omens. But something that's really cool is you can actually spend some time while doing this strategy gambling on these belts, because you're going to get a whole bunch of these belts, and these belts are they're surprisingly really good gamble targets. Now, if you get any belts that are really bad, like this one that's just 21-24, and you see it's like 7 exalts, whatever. And then if you look at ones that are like, I know I have pretty good ones. This one's 29-27. This one's 30 exalts. This one's 31-34. This one's multiple divines. This one's multiple divines, so that one's pretty good. And you can just really kind of have a good time gambling with some of these belts. And on the off chance, if you ever manage to ID a belt that's 30-30, you know, you have just divines in pocket. Same thing with 28-30, you have divines in pocket. And it's just something that you get to mess around with. And it's another source of really interesting income that you can get. So you can see we can sit here and we can gamble. This one, that one missed. This one's 20-33. That one missed. That one missed. This one's 25-33. And it just becomes something fun that you can do alongside. Oh, that one hit energy shield. Wait, that one's actually pretty good. That one hit evasion rating. That one hit dex. And you never know, man. You might do these. Oh, I ran out of things. This one's 30-24. I ran out of the omens.
Can I help?
Omen of Corruption. These are 43. Oh, there's 16. There's 16x each. They're not too bad. Oh, we'll just farm up more. We get them often enough that it's just better to keep farming them up than trying to roll for them. And then you get lucky, you get a couple of good ones. Like this one has elemental resistances on it. Not worth a whole lot, unfortunately. This one has maximum energy shield, which I kind of hope is worth something. This one's worth multi-div. That's insane. So we're going to list this one for 5. And then this one we're going to list for 3. And then we'll mess around with the other belts later. But overall, King of the Mist is like this really interesting fight that I don't think a lot of people realize how good it is. And a lot of people aren't spending the time to do it. When I was doing it in stream, a bunch of people were doing it, and some people were making money and some people weren't making money. But overall, I pretty much just want to make this video today to kind of showcase to you that there is another strategy alongside of Ritual. And if you're farming Ritual in map and you're getting a ton of petition splinters and you don't want to sell them, it is absolutely positively worth running. Now, this video was a little bit on the faster side. I kind of wanted to get this information out. There's not really a whole lot of good ways to stretch out in slow talking this fight, but like I had mentioned, if you just take the splinters and your build does a whole whopping amount of damage, you can come into these King of the Mist fights and in and out in a minute. Like you're talking about with like inventory management and everything else, you're talking like 40 fights an hour, and they're cheap. They're relatively cheap, and all it takes is one good omen or one good rare, and you're up another 20 or 30 fights. Now, that's not to say that that you might run bad and get 20 or 30 fights in a row where you don't make a single divine, but I have dropped plenty of raw divines today. I've dropped plenty of, greater exalted orbs, perfect exalted orbs. And overall, it's just been a really, really good experience. And if you get enough bulk of the worser state omens, you can always sell the worser state omens to recoup some of your losses. You'll also get a bunch of uniques that you can, convert into chance orbs, and then eventually you have enough chance orbs that you can make a divine, or you have your own chance orbs that you want to spend on stuff. But it just becomes this really neat little interesting farm that if you're bored of mapping, that you too can explore. And you see, even with a bad maze, you're still looking at a minute 10. Oh, there's a diamond! And then all of these didn't get triggered onto my loot filter, which is unfortunate. Now, actually, I'm really curious to see what these diamonds are worth. These diamonds unidentified are 2 nulls. So, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Then we come over here, we ID it, we hit mind over matter, we completely lose again, we feel really bad, and then we can go next. But I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes, and I wanted to showcase to you some cool farming strategy that I was doing, something that you guys might be interested in. If you're like me and you're like, mapping's cool and all, but you want to do something a little bit different. This has been really enjoyable for me to do. This has been a lot of profit. I've been a really good time. I get to go into the fight, kill the fight, go out the fight, go into the fight, kill the fight, go out the fight, and it constantly is just a whole lot of dopamine and the rush of exciting bossing. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, come stop by the live stream, or just kind of overall let me know. Have you tried this farm? Is it good? Do you like it? Have you made currency doing it? I know my buddy Realism's actually had a good run with it, so I know some people have been doing it and they've been having a good time, but I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, if there's another really cool farm you want me to try, please by all means let me know. I'm thinking about either doing a whole bunch of Zesh or the expedition boss and just kind of overall see how it goes. But for now, friends, I'm going to leave it with you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.